Isn't it better to take that money away from people who are ripping us off at the pump, away from the corporate welfare queens here, and put it into alternatives so our people are no longer victims to their prices? And that's the fight we are having. That's the debate we are having. And on the other side, they say, drill, baby, drill. And you know what? I'm for drilling where it makes sense. Do you know how many acres the oil companies are holding now that they haven't drilled upon? It is pretty amazing. My friends say, open up the Arctic to drilling, a precious environment, God-given, placed in a refuge by, I believe it was Dwight Eisenhower. Am I right on that? Yes. They want to go in there and ravage it. Why don't they drill on their non-producing acres? It looks like 75 million non-producing acres onshore and offshore that they hold leases on. Oh no, that's not good enough for them. They're only drilling on 25% of the leases they hold, of the acreage that they hold in those leases. How about use it or lose it instead of drill, baby, drill? Drill, baby, drill in here. Don't go into the coast of California where they want to go, or Washington or Oregon where we have fishing, tourism, recreation. You know, there's so many people here that I listen to that make the arguments for the oil companies. I am so tired of it. How about speaking up for the American people who are getting brutalized at the pump? How about speaking up for the people who make their living off a beautiful, pristine environment? Oh, by the way, many, many jobs in my state. Over 400,000 jobs. 400,000 jobs related to a pristine coastline, and they don't care about that on the other side. They want to open it up, push these people out of the way, and create a few jobs, because there are far fewer jobs created from drilling. And as President Obama has said many times, and the other side gets rankled, we only have 2% of the world's proven oil reserves, and we use about 20% of energy. So you do the math. As the president said, you could drill in your grandmother's bathtub, you could drill in the Great Lakes, you could drill anywhere you want. You're not going to find enough oil. So let's get off foreign oil. Let's tell the oil companies to drill, baby, drill where they have the acres. And let's look at these prices, and let's understand, and we'll look at it again, the profits of big oil. They are crying all the way to the bank, as my dad used to say. Look at this. In the height of the recession, they are making record profits and crying to keep their subsidies, and my Republican friends crying right along. Oh, here, have a tissue. We're so sorry for you. We're so sorry for you, even though we have to turn away millions of children from after-school programs because we don't have more than $1 billion to spend on it. They're giving away $2 billion a year. That's just one example. That's just one example. I hope we vote for the Menendez bill. I hope we vote tomorrow on that to stop the filibuster, to vote it up or down. Because what a message it will send of hope to the American people, that we are willing to stand up to the biggest powers that be, that we are willing to fight for the average American, that we're not in the pockets of big oil. You don't need to give American taxpayer dollars to big oil. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you don't have to allow them to drill in pristine areas when they won't even drill in areas that they have had under lease for years. And let's stop them from exporting the oil. We need it. Let's keep it here. Let's keep it here. And by the way, if they keep on ripping us off like this and getting rewarded for it from my Republican friends, let's release some oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, Madam President, and let's increase the supply, and let's see prices go down. Let's look at the CEOs of big oil for a minute. These poor guys that are fighting for these subsidies, let's look at them. CEOs for the Big Five made more than $14.5 million in total compensation in 2010. This is it. Average compensation. Madam President, that's 307 times the average salary of a firefighter. That's 273 times the average salary of a teacher. That's 263 times the average salary of a policeman. That's 218 times the average salary of a nurse. But they need subsidies for their companies. And they need to rip us off at the pump so they can make a little more money. $14.5 million just isn't enough for a poor oil company executive. Give me a break. And stop giving them a break, because they don't need this break. So, we have an opportunity to stand up for what's right. And I hope that we take it. Because right now, we want alternatives to big oil. We want competition for big oil. We want to be able to become energy independent. So let's stop these taxpayer handouts. The oil companies don't need them. Let's start investing in America's energy future, which, by the way, that kind of investment creates many jobs at a time that we need to do that.